of the grand football palaces of the South, Sanford Stadium, on a great Saturday as number 12 Georgia looks to bounce back against Kentucky. Kentucky won the toss. They elected to defer. Aiden LaRoche will get the day started off the big boot that will not be returned. Gunnar Stockton, he's one of 3 SEC starting quarterbacks without an interception this year. Ty Simpson, Jackson Arnold, the other 2.
And he possesses a lot of intangibles, Joe, that you look for in a quarterback. He's very, very poised. He's an outstanding leader. And, man, he is tough. He will put his body on the line, both throwing it and running it in this game. He's a guy that Kirby Smart has said in the past just has winner written all over him. And really curious to see how he's going to bounce back after that loss against Bama.
Grew up 70 miles north of this stadium in Tiger, Georgia. And they'll go with the screen to Branch. Very dangerous man in the open field, but good tackling by the Kentucky defense by Jordan Lovett. Our impact players are brought to you by Fairfield by Marriott.
Well, running back Chauncey Bowens coming off a career day, 119 yards against Bama. Running back Zachariah Branch, who just had that catch. He is the most explosive player for Georgia's offense. And Alex Safari Jr. at linebacker for Kentucky. He's a guy that can go sideline to sideline with tremendous speed at the linebacker level.
Second and 9. Stockton gets it out into space to Dillon Bell. Dillon Bell, when he turns the corner, can be explosive. Remember, he had the 43-yard touchdown, 43-yard run last week against Bama.
He sure did, and that's a really nice, quick decision that time by Gunnar Stockton. Seeing the blitz coming from Kentucky and understanding, I've got Dillon Bell lined up to my right, corner playing off. It's a hitch throw. It's an easy pitch and catch. Get him the football early, make this thing 3rd and short.
3rd down and 2. Empty set for Gunnar Stockton. Bowens motions back in, and Stockton's going to run it himself. And look at the great blocking as he goes ahead out to the 39-yard line where Lovett cuts him down.
Well, they're running it to the right that time, and it's the true freshman Juan Gaston, 360 pounds, is kind of running out to the right. Big number 73 right there. He just adds a different level of physicality to this offensive line, and that's something we'll keep our eyes on this one too, Joe. There's a lot of inexperience in this one. Georgia starting 2 true freshmen on this line today. One at right guard and one at right tackle.
Dontrell Glover at right guard. We just saw Gaston there at 6'7", 360. First down, play action. Stockton avoiding the interior pressure and then hit as he throws it away. And charging in that time was Alex Afari, the active linebacker for UK.
Well, there's an example of a shot play call that they can't get off because of Gusta right here at nose tackle for Kentucky, swimming to center Bobo, getting penetration. Now, Gunnar Stockton can't set his feet, and he's just forced to throw that away. It's got to be frustrating if you're Mike Bobo, the offensive play caller, because you are giving this offense opportunities to take shots downfield, but sometimes the blocking hasn't been consistent enough to do it.
2nd and 10. Bowens gets his first work of the afternoon, able to get to the edge and stiff arm a defender. That was Nichols who rode him out of bounds, but a good run of 13 yards for Bowens.
I want you to watch Micah Morris, number 56. He's going to pull around here and get a block on the outside against Quaysheet Scott, a 196-pound DB. If you want to run the football to the outside, you've got to set the edge, and a good job there by a pulling 330-pound guard.
Morris is considered their strongest player on the team, and you just saw it there. First down, Stockton. Shallow cross as he goes underneath and is able to get it complete to the true freshman tight end, Elias Williams.
And Elias Williams was the #1 ranked tight end prospect coming out of high school. Right here, just kind of running a little drag route right over the middle of the field. I like Georgia being aggressive on first down, throwing from the pocket.
Nate Frazier takes it straight ahead.
As we go back, Joe, and we talk about Gunnar Stockton having to take more shots, I think early this year for him, he's had to see guys running open. Guys outside got to be cleared DBs by 4 yards for him to feel comfortable letting it go. Sometimes you just got to know, hey, if I've got a 6'4" Colby Young or a 6'5" Noah Thomas or 6'5" Oscar Delp running stride for stride with a defender, that guy's open. And I can give him an opportunity to make a 50-50 catch and come up with big plays.
A big point of the conversation we had yesterday with Mike Bobo. This is Josh McCray with a good, strong run. But just when we spoke to the offensive coordinator, Mike Bobo, yesterday, he said, we just want him to have the confidence to trust what he sees and let the ball go. Don't be too cautious.
And that's the thing. The first couple weeks with all the inexperience up front on the O-line, I think Mike Bobo was hesitant to call those shots. But these last two games against Tennessee and Alabama, the play calls are there. They've only attempted 22 passes this year, Joe, where the ball travels 15 yards or more downfield. That's got to change. They need more of those big play opportunities.
First down after the 8-yard run by McCray. Now Chauncey Bowens again. Bowens untouched until he got inside the 15-yard line.
We're seeing pulling linemen everywhere. This time it's true freshman Dontel Glover at right guard. He's going to come over here and get a block outside, and that's going to spring Chauncey Bowens. He doesn't have tremendous top-end speed, Joe, but man, he's got a burst. You saw how quickly that time he was able to hit the hole and get into the second level of Kentucky's defense.
And just we saw him last week with 119 yards and a touchdown against Alabama. Redshirt freshman from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Stockton checking at the line. Bowens again, but this time he is taken down maybe a half yard behind the line of scrimmage.
True freshman Cedric Works that time getting the stop, and Kentucky is thinking they're going to see run here. One thing Georgia's constantly done this season in the red zone, they're running the ball 82% of the time. That leads the SEC. They really lean on these big fellas up front, a deep stable of running backs. This is also, Joe, an area of the field where Gunnar Stockton's feet really come into play.
11th play of this opening drive for Georgia. Quick screen, Branch. Branch trying to get around that blocker in front. Breaks the original tackle attempt by Hardaway.
All right, so now setting up third down here in the red zone. If you're Kentucky, you got to be aware that Gunnar Stockton could take off on you. So in your pass rush, you've got to be disciplined, stay in your lane, stay in your gap, and be ready to finish. That's one thing they didn't do a week ago against South Carolina. They let Lenora Sellers out the gate a few times when they had opportunities for sacks.
It's interesting. Monroe Freeling, the starting left tackle, limped off the field prior to this third down and 5. So we see Bo Hughley now stepping in at left tackle. Stockton on 3rd and 5. Plenty of time, but not many options, so he's going to run it himself and dives for a touchdown. Gunnar Stockton, his second rushing touchdown of the season.
Just finished talking about this. Kentucky's got to do a better job of staying in their lanes. Tavian Gatson on the right, he's fighting through a double team, and that is absolutely brutal, but he slips inside, and as soon as he did that, Gunnar Stockton's able to go outside. As you look at the progressive pylon camera, making sure he got in, he did. But Gunnar Stockton's dual threat ability, that really pays dividends for this offense in the red zone on third down, and you've seen that on this opening drive.
Peyton Woodring puts it through, and Georgia was 3 for 3 on third down on that drive, including the touchdown run by Gunnar Stockton. He said it's the reset, back to winning ways here at home. Off to a very good start with a 12-play touchdown drive. There's Gunnar Stockton, 7-yard touchdown run to get Georgia's day started moments ago. It was a great scene here at Sanford Stadium. Homecoming weekend in Athens. So the starting quarterback, Jesse, for Kentucky is Cutter Boley, who stepped into action after Zach Calzada was injured earlier this season.
He's a redshirt freshman, Joe, and highly recruited coming out of high school as a four-star. Bama wanted him. Notre Dame wanted him. Miami, Oregon. He chose Kentucky. 6'5", 220 pounds, can push the ball down the field. He's also pretty athletic for a big guy, and he's going to need that, I think, playing in this loud environment against this Georgia defense. He's going to be able to have to move and make plays when things break down.
Good news for Cutter Boley is they have two excellent running backs that he can lean on. They're looking for more production from the wide receivers. We'll see if that develops today. But they'll start on the ground with Seth McGowan. This is exactly what we talked about, the hard running of the pair of running backs, but especially McGowan.
And he's got a burst. He's a guy, once he sees the hole, he can get upfield quickly. He has the speed to bounce it outside as well. Right now, 96 rushing yards a game, Joe. Second in the SEC, and no question early in this game, it's what Kentucky's MO is and has been for years. They want to establish the ground game as quick as possible.
Mark Stoops, 13 seasons as head coach, the longest tenured head coach in the SEC. Second and 3, McGowan again. He runs angry and desperate, and that moves the chains.
Yeah, very violent runner himself. And what better way to settle a redshirt freshman quarterback on the road, right? Here at Sanford Stadium with all this crowd noise and getting that ground game established. You want to try to keep third downs manageable, but you've got a couple of backs. Seth McGowan, Dante Dowdell, two big guys they can hand the football off to and try and wear Georgia down.
Play action now for Boley as he evades a Georgia defender and then does get it complete just beyond that line to gain to the veteran Josh Caddis.
There's the athleticism.
And a flag is down.
We saw there that time by Boley. He's going to be rolling out to his right. He has to make Chris Cole, a very athletic linebacker, miss.
Player downfield, offense, number 75, 5-yard penalty, first down.
It's the left guard Braun who was downfield on that last play.
Yeah, well, it looked like a bit of an RPO that time. Cutter Boley had the option to hand that thing off, and you throw the football past the line of scrimmage. Offensive linemen are only allowed to be 3 yards downfield that time. Joshua Braun a little bit further than that, and unfortunately, a really nice play there by Cutter Boley. Mark Stoops comes back.
First and 15 after the penalty. They go with the screen of Rodriguez, already trying to utilize the tight end. We talked about the limitations we've seen with the receivers so far this season.
Yeah, they just don't have anybody, Joe, outside who's very, very dynamic at the wide receiver spot. And they've got guys in Kendrick Law and Hardwick Gilmore and Jamori McClain who can run. But they lost their top 2 receivers to the portal in the offseason, and they just have not been productive. One of only 4 teams in the country, Joe, where receiver does not yet have a touchdown catch, and that's really hurt them, especially in situations like this, second and third and long.
It's incredible to think about that. One of 4 teams without a wide receiver touchdown reception. Seth McGowan again sort of understand what they think the formula is today with how much they're working McGowan early and then going to the tight end.
It makes third down a bit more manageable, and this has been a problem for Georgia's defense this year. You see Bush Hamden right there, the offensive coordinator from Kentucky, getting ready to dial one up with tempo.
Third and 6, Boley looking for an option downfield, is going to take a strike, and that is far to the outside of Kendrick Law, who is covered by K.J. Bolden.
Well, that was a nice call by Hamden that time, because they had Kendrick Law, I think, open right here in the slot. He's just sort of hiding here, and he's going to run this flag route. That's open. And I think Cutter Boley has got to be able to let this thing go. Georgia wasn't expecting the early snap. That's a shot you've got to take. If you're going to win a game like this, Joe, on the road against this team, Cutter Boley's talking to his QB coach right there. Hey, man, we let one get away from us.
Aiden LaRose on to punt away. As he skies this high. And Branch with a fair catch inside the 5-yard line.
You got to let that thing bounce and potentially go into the end zone. A guy that won the Jet Award 2 years ago as the nation's outstanding returner's got to know better, Joe. Big mistake for Georgia here early.
Jesse, when you're a punt returner and you fair catch it at the 4-yard line, you just know what that walk over to the sideline is going to feel like.
Zachariah Branch, I don't think he knew where he was on the field. He looks down, he's like, uh-oh, I was on the 3-4-yard line. That's not going to be good when Kirby Smart sees it. Kirby's like, bro, you were an All-American at USC and doing this. What's the deal? You're setting up our offense in this field position.
So that is where Georgia will take over after they had just a perfectly managed opening drive that went for 75 yards, was capped by Gunnar Stockton's 7-yard touchdown run.
The impressive thing about that drive, Joe, is how they ran the football, too. 54 rushing yards on that first drive. Handing it off, you saw Gunnar Stockton on 3rd down and in the red zone on 3rd down doing a great job with his legs.
So Stockton and Bowens a yard into their own end zone for their second drive. Play action. Stockton, he wants every bit of it, but just beyond the reach of big Colby Young.
But I like that decision, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Even when 6'4" Colby Young is running a stutter go like that, and there's a DB running with him like this, he's open. This is a great place to take a shot. You're expecting man coverage. I know they didn't come up with this one, but it's a good decision and an aggressive decision. You got to give to Ryan Nichols lots of credit. He recovered after the break there, and it falls incomplete. But if you're Georgia and you're Gunnar Stockton, you got to keep that aggressive mindset.
Quick strike, and it's Humphreys for a first down. Well placed by Gunnar Stockton.
Yeah, you got a little RPO action with the play fake, and that sucks 2 linebackers up, which opens up the slant route behind it by Humphrey. The play fake here gets these guys biting. You're going to hit this in behind. Nice, accurate throw, putting it right on the face mask that time of Humphreys.
So Alex Safari, their star linebacker, he was all the way met with the center by the time that ball was released, to your point, Jesse. After the breathing room, Bowens takes the carry, and he's met at the line of scrimmage.
Well, guys, Monroe Freeling spent the entire Kentucky drive in the injury tent. He's now out in the team box, testing that left ankle. He's working on his get-off. He's been having conversations with head athletic trainer Connor Norman, and he keeps shaking his head saying, I don't know if I can go. I'll keep you posted.
If you can't go, Katie, that's a big loss. He's very athletic, and so Bo Hughley, who started last week against Alabama at right tackle, now playing left. He's only 295 pounds, though. He's athletic, but can he hold up on the edge?
2nd and 10 as he gets it to Frazier out of the backfield, who cuts back, and in doing so lowers the shoulders and will have a first down for Georgia.
Another really good decision by Stockton that time. He's hot on this play. He's getting blitzed, and it's coming from his right side here. His answer is going to be the running back out in the flat. There's really no hesitation. As soon as he sees it, ball comes out, and you're giving it to a really good athlete in Frazier out in space, making a defender miss and getting upfield and moving the sticks. Good decision-making early in this game by Gunnar Stockton.
Now it's Alex Safari, their leading tackler, who missed. Frazier just limped off, so Bowen's back in the game at running back. And he tries to take it off right tackle, but he's met in the backfield by Gerard Smith.
Great job by Gerard Smith that time, getting penetration, and he was able to beat Oscar Delp at tight end in the backfield. This is a D-line at Kentucky, Joe. I really enjoyed watching on film. They lost a lot of talent. 4 key guys from a year ago, none bigger than Deion Walker. But one thing about them, they play hard. They're deep. They want to be physical. They want to fight you in a phone booth. And they've had some wins here against Georgia's O-line early.
Second and 9. Here's Branch as he motioned across, shakes free, and look at what he can do in short space, Jesse.
And the key to that, Joe, is getting him the ball quickly. Gunnar Stockton's like a shortstop. He catches the gun snap, and right away he spits it out to Zachariah Branch. He accelerates so quickly.
3rd and one. They quickly get to the line for the quarterback sneak, and with that extra push, it's another first down. Keep in mind, this drive started at the 4-yard line.
When you got a guy like Branch and as explosive as that, you just want to find creative ways to get him touches and get him out of space. Bubble screens, receiver screens, jet sweeps, whatever you got to do to let number one go to work. But he's got that burst. He's got that acceleration and change of direction, Joe, that you just really can't coach.
Just Georgia now 4 for 4 on third down. Stockton. That was batted as he was trying to get it to Bowens, but Marquise Humphrey-Grace at 6'4" was able to get his hands up.
He's been their most consistent pass rusher, and that was a smart decision by him that time. He's working against the true freshman Gaston, and he knows he's not going to get there. So he gets his eyes up, seeing Gunnar Stockton release the football, and gets the big paw to bat this thing down, now setting up second and long.
Ivy League transfer to the SEC. Humphrey-Grace now a 2nd and 10, an empty look for Stockton. 3-man rush, they drop 8, and with that, he goes to the ground. Such a capable runner as he crosses midfield, met by Afari.
Yeah, and last time they went tempo and they went QB sneak in this situation. We'll see what Georgia does here. But on these 3rd and short situations, again, Gunnar Stockton and his legs on zone read type plays, you got to be aware of it. Cash Jones is normally the running back they play on 3rd down in these situations. He's dangerous catching the ball out of the backfield too. But there's a lot you got to be thinking about here if you're Kentucky defensively because of Georgia's personnel.
Josh McCray, who's their short yardage running back, had the big moment against Tennessee with the overtime touchdown comes in, and with that, Kentucky's going to call a timeout. It's going to be a 3rd down and 2 when we return to Athens as Mark Stoops' crew will talk things over defensively. The famous arch here at the University of Georgia. Of course, the tradition that the students on campus, you're not supposed to walk under the arch before graduating from Georgia. Incredible university, incredible setting, especially on a game day, homecoming weekend in Athens. 10th play of Georgia's 2nd drive coming up after the timeout defensively by Kentucky, and it's Stockton again. Gunnar Stockton finally sliding down. Good block by Bowens, his running back, to break him free.
Chauncey Bowens did a really nice job getting into the 2nd level against Landon Watson on the block, and now they're going to go tempo here after moving the sticks.
19-yard run by Gunnar Stockton. And now the completion to the outside shoulder of London Humphreys. And Georgia's offense, and the penalty flag comes in late, as that was J.Q. Hardaway, the defensive back for Kentucky. But Georgia's offense is in a rhythm.
Well, I like what Mike Bobo is doing with tempo right now, mixing it up, trying to put Kentucky on their heels.
After the play is over, personal foul, necessary roughness, defense, number 25. Penalties half of this into the hole. First down.
You mentioned, Joe, the block by Chauncey Bowens right here. He's going to come up, right, get that stick, and that frees Gunnar Stockton before sliding down. They get right up to the line of scrimmage quickly. He had London Humphreys one-on-one to the outside. Good accurate throw, protecting it on the outside shoulder before he goes down. And there's the penalty. It's just you got to know better if you're Jonquez Hardaway, the transfer from Cincinnati. You can't do that.
First and goal to the end zone. Incomplete, looking for Young.
It's a couple times now in the first quarter when Gunnar Stockton has looked out wide. He's seen a 6'4" Miami transfer target one-on-one, and Gunnar knows I missed that. And you just got to do a better job. It's the right decision, but you got to give him an opportunity to use those long arms on the back shoulder fade to make a catch.
Just caught a glimpse of Monroe Freeling, the starting left tackle, headed to the locker room. Left the game here. Bo Hughley has been playing left tackle since then. 2nd and goal. Stockton. Wow! Gunnar Stockton again! Showing you the athleticism. He made Sam Green miss.
He made 2 guys miss outside. It was Jonquez Hardaway also along with Sam Green, number 2 and number 6. Remember, Gunnar Stockton was the number 5 ranked dual threat quarterback. He's a legend here in Georgia in high school all-time state records for passing yards, passing touchdowns, and rushing touchdowns. A true dual threat, already a second rushing touchdown in the game.
As Freeling puts it through and Woodring puts it through, but I mean, this was a drive that started after the special teams error. They went 96 yards, Jess.
Yeah, and they're running a tight end out in the flat, and that forces Sam Green, number 2 there, just to have to hesitate and widen. He's sitting there running with Lawson Lucky, and that's all the room Gunnar Stockton needed. When they get down in the red zone, they're able to pay it off with his legs. The penalty by Kentucky didn't help, and you just think if you're the Wildcats playing on the road in this environment against this team with this kind of talent, you can't help them out. You're not going to be able to turn it over, and you got to really do a better job playing smart, cutting out the penalties.
Well, guys, Kentucky defensive coordinator Brad White said when he watched Georgia's tape in preparation for this game, he saw a team that loves their quarterback. White said it reminded him of how this offense loved and rallied around Stetson Bennett. The same can be said for Gunnar Stockton. White said you can tell players believe in him, trust him, they've got his back, they'll fight, scrap, and claw for their QB, and when he runs the football like that, hard not to, guys.
Yeah, Katie, he's a great leader. There's a lot of different types of leaders at quarterback. You get the rah-rah guys who are emotional and they give speeches. Some guys are just quiet and they go to work. And I think that's the type of leader Gunnar Stockton is, leading by example.
48 yards running the ball and 2 rushing touchdowns. A week ago, the home winning streak was snapped, broken against Alabama. Just a few plays in that game. They feel really good. You know, we talked to Kirby Smart yesterday about that game, and he said, listen, I worry about the process a little more than the results a lot.
Yeah,
and he knows the way they played last week.
Yeah, they turned the film on, and they actually thought in some ways they actually played better as a team against Bama than they did against Tennessee when they won.
I think they did. I
did too. I think there's a handful of plays you can point to in that Bama game. If it goes the other way, then that's a different game. But so is football.
Boley gets it to McGowan, who swings out of the backfield, and Seth McGowan makes it out to the 29-yard line. C.J. Allen with the tackle.
That's only the 6th play Kentucky is running this game. Here we are. The clock's ticking down at the end of the first quarter. Kentucky's defense has been out there a long time. They've played 25 plays already. It's important Kentucky here can stay on the field a little bit and give their defense a chance to catch their breath.
Second and 5. This is Law. Kendrick Law with a blocker in front. And Kendrick Law turns on the speed. The transfer from Alabama taking advantage of that block from his tight end, Willie Rodriguez.
Yeah, you run these screens out wide like that, you've got to have guys downfield getting blocks. And Kendrick Law is kind of like the Zachariah Branch of Kentucky. He's the guy you want to get screens. You want to use his speed out in space, and they rip off a big explosive play early. That's going to help their confidence, Joe.
Gunnar Stockton with a 7-yard touchdown run with a 6-yard touchdown run, and it's 14-zip Georgia, the SEC on ABC. Presented by Starbucks. We'll return after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Here between the hedges, you're watching the SEC on ABC. Georgia with a 2-touchdown lead as Kentucky for the first time is in Georgia territory today to start this second quarter. In the first quarter, Georgia possessed the ball 11 minutes and 24 seconds. McGowan on the carry. Moments ago, Katie with Coach Stoops.
Welcome back to Athens. We're on the sidelines with Mark Stoops. Mark, Gunnar Stockton's using his legs a lot. What do you need to see from your defense moving forward?
Yeah, they've been keeping us very much off balance, using a lot of formations, some unbalanced. We got to settle in and make them clean adjustments, get on the same page. We haven't tackled very well.
Kendrick Law with a great play there. How do you cash in on this drive?
Yeah, we've got to be able to throw the ball a little bit. You know, we're running it effectively. We haven't had very many drives because defensively we can't get off the field.
Thanks for the time.
Caddis scores for the Cats. Cutter Boley to Josh Caddis for a touchdown for Kentucky. 29 yards.
Really poor eye discipline that time by Georgia in the back end. A nice design. You got a tight end coming in motion. Watch this defender following him. When he sees the play fake, he bites. And that allows Caddis to just be scot-free wide open. This is man coverage on defense for Georgia. That's a total bust on the back end. And what a great job answering by Cutter Boley in this Kentucky offense.
It went to Kendrick Law with the 38-yard screen. Then Boley hits Josh Caddis, and they open up this second quarter after we said, Jesse, Georgia dominated the first quarter, was 5 for 5 on third down, dominated time of possession. This was a had-to-have-it for Kentucky.
Well, Kentucky's receivers haven't been doing a lot of great work catching the ball downfield. The tight ends have, though. Willie Rodriguez, Josh Caddis, they're all roommates with Cutter Boley, and so the two roommates hook up in a time when Kentucky needed it most. They've got good athletes that can attack the middle of the field and win their one-on-ones. And you talk about, again, a redshirt freshman quarterback in Boley, right, who's learning on the job each and every week. How would he bounce back from a less than stellar performance against South Carolina a week ago? And you got to be really, really pleased if you're Mark Stoops with how this young quarterback is competing.
Give credit to Josh Caddis as well for the role that he plays within the sport. He is a semifinalist for the Campbell Trophy. Of course, when it comes to being a scholar athlete, what you are beyond the white lines, that is the award everybody guns for. He's also been named to the Good Works team, the All-State Good Works team, and a semifinalist for the Wuerffel Trophy. So great community service, great scholar athlete is Josh Caddis, who just had the 29-yard touchdown catch. Zachariah Branch, transfer from USC, dangerous return man, but LaRose hasn't given him a chance. They won't here as well. Let's go to the studio to Kevin.
Joe, undefeated number 14, Iowa State in serious trouble at Cincinnati here. Bug, here's Brendan Sorsby.
No, I love the touchdown pass right now, Kev, but Iowa State can't stop the run. Cincinnati already over 130 yards on the ground.
Right now, the Cyclones just scored, so it's 17-6 Bearcats at home. Back to you guys.
Good quarterback matchup there with Rocco Beck going up against Brendan Sorsby. Sorsby with a touchdown pass already today. Stockton drives the ball and gets it complete to Dylan Bell.
What a great job by Stockton that time, getting through his progressions. He starts this thing off to the right. He's able to scan all the way back left and then comes back again to his fourth receiver running the dig route. Really good job in the pocket here. His feet are following his eyes. He's able to stay on balance and just deliver an absolute dart.
21-yard reception for Bell, who's been the Swiss Army knife offensively for much of his career here at Georgia. Frazier on the ground as Frazier bullies his way just past midfield as the offensive line still giving an extra push.
Well, Joe, Georgia's been up and down the field. So if you're Kentucky, how do you stop them, right? You heard Mark Stoops just tell Katie a moment ago, you got to tackle better. That's actually been a problem for Kentucky's defense this year. They've missed at least 12 tackles in each of their last 3 games. You got to fly to the football in this one. You got to get hats and gang tackling. Easier said than done when you're trying to tackle guys like Chauncey Bowens and Zachariah Branch and Gunnar Stockton.
Play action. Stockton with time. Good coverage downfield, though, as he tries to extend the play and then launches him where a flag is down just beyond Bell.
Well, this turned into a scramble play, and I think Bell got tangled up one-on-one. You're going to get a defensive holding penalty in the back end.
Holding defense, number 20. Penalty is 10 yards. Automatic. First down.
That's Nichols, the boundary corner.
Yeah, Gunnar Stockton bought himself some time outside. So Bell starts inside. The same play, he just caught a pass on a few plays ago. And Tyron Nichols just a little bit too handsy. Costly penalties on defense now, Joe, for Kentucky these last 2 drives. You don't have to do anything to help Kirby Smart, Dylan Bell, and this offense out, but undisciplined play from the secondary, it's been really costing Kentucky.
So it's a first down for Georgia inside the 40. Stockton. That ball is intercepted. That is Lovett, who picks off Gunnar Stockton, his first interception he has thrown this season. He was looking for Humphreys.
Well, that time, a very bad decision by Gunnar Stockton. Just staring a receiver down in the seam. There was a safety right in the middle of the field, and that was too easy for Jordan Love. He's got to be aware of this safety right there, and that's just too easy to break. He also throws it to the inside, and that's a big-time takeaway that Kentucky's defense needed. You've got Humphreys running that seam route, but we saw Gunnar Stockton a few plays ago do a great job with his eyes working through a progression. That time, he just straight stared down his target, and that's the first pick thrown this year by Gunnar Stockton.
124 attempts, Jesse, without an interception. Prior to that by Jordan Lovett. And now this Kentucky offense that on their last drive, their scoring drive, had the 38-yard screen to Law, had the 29-yard touchdown catch by Caddis. Back to business. Boley, and Boley has time, but does he have an open man? The 220-pounder is taken down for a loss. C.J. Allen with the tackle.
I think Boley's got to do a better job seeing the field. I know he's 6'5", but just because you're tall doesn't mean you're going to see guys open. Remember, he missed Kendrick Law on the first drive on a flag route. Watch Caddis right here just run a curl. And this is wide open. This is a throw that Boley's got to put on him right now.
Oh, yeah.
Just give him the ball. I mean, it's 5-6 yards. I get it. It's not going to be a touchdown, but the football has to come out of your hand.
Now the crowd is loud on 2nd and 11. And here's the quick game to Law again, but flush against the boundary. He had nowhere to go, so it'll be 3rd down from there.
One thing Georgia's defense has been awesome at this year is sudden change situations. Prior to this game, they turned it over 5 different times, all in their own end of the field. Georgia only allowed 3 field goals in those situations. Now they're going to let the crowd take over here on 3rd and long.
Listen to Sanford Stadium. Third and 9. Boley threw it to the outside of Ferrier, and Ferrier had a couple steps on the DB.
And that was just barely past the arm. I mean, that was a bullet in a zone coverage, trying to fit that thing into a tight window down the boundary. I like the aggressive nature by Boley here. He's trying to fit this between the corner and the safety, so it's got to be a line drive throw. He's trying the back shoulder and just barely, it just got up on the receiver. Ferrier just a little too quick for him to handle.
Second punt for LaRoche. They came up the middle against the punter. No flag is down. As fielded inside the 20 by Branch. So Kentucky got the interception, but they didn't do anything with it. Still a touchdown lead for number 12, Georgia. Jesse, Mark Stoops was irate over this.
Yeah, Justin Williams, 19, falls right into the leg that was planted on the ground of Kentucky's punter. That should have been, in my opinion, a 15-yard penalty and a fresh set of downs for Kentucky.
See Coach Stoops letting his opinion be known. Most wins in Kentucky football history for Mark Stoops. 52-yard punt. So Georgia takes over at the 19-yard line. Gunnar Stockton with 2 touchdown runs and just threw an interception. As Branch, they try to work him into space, but he's tackled by Hardaway.
Well, one guy who's not out there right now is Jordan Lovett, who had the interception. He was being attended to on the sideline. We just saw him jogging in to the locker room, and that's a big loss, Katie, for them. Remember, they're already down one of their starting corners, DJ Waller, in this game.
Yeah, Jesse, after his interception, Lovett landed on that right shoulder. He was in some visible pain. His athletic trainers worked on it on the sidelines. He actually tried to rejoin the defensive huddle, but athletic trainers pulled him back and said, we got to go to the locker room.
So that is their starting safety, who is not out there for this possession. Owens! Oh, as he spins free for a Georgia first down.
Just has such good feet, and he's able to cut. That time the play looks like it's going to the outside. He cuts it back right up the middle, and he's able to make people miss. That time Ty Bryant, number 14, just gets shook right there. We talk about the tackling problems Kentucky's defense has had. It's tough when you're trying to take on these big bruising backs. Bowens running at 225 pounds with a lot of shape.
He's averaging 6.7 yards per carry this afternoon. Stockton. That ball is incomplete as he was trying to connect with Zachariah Branch.
Well, the good news is I know Kentucky's got some injuries in the back end. They still got Ty Bryant, though. Remember, that was the guy that had interceptions on consecutive possessions against Ole Miss. He is a total ball hawk. This throw just a little bit behind by Stockton going to Branch, and that allows Ty Bryant, who's stuck right in his back pocket, to break that thing up. Really nice play.
And keep in mind, DJ Waller, who's considered their best cornerback, has been out with a hamstring for some time as well. Second down and 10. Here's Frazier, as he will make it to the 35-yard line, tackled by Rayner. It'll be third down from there.
Now, you've got to stay in your pass rush lanes if you're Kentucky. In this obvious passing situation for Georgia, they've been burned a few times when guys have gotten out of position. That's something Brad White's got to be relaying to his guys right now on the field. Stay in your lanes, stay under control with Gunnar Stockton back there. You've got to be disciplined here.
You see that Georgia is perfect on third down today. 5 for 5. This is a 3rd and 5 for Stockton. And he gets it quickly to the outside to Dylan Bell, and now they're 6 for 6 on moving the chain.
I think Jonquist Hardaway that time on third down, just giving way too much space to Dylan Bell, and he's backpedaling, and it's 3rd and 5 or whatever it is, and you're just making that catch and throw way too easy for Gunnar Stockton. You have to understand the awareness on the field and where you are. Look how much space he's giving him right here, and he's backing up. That's the first down marker.
3rd and 5, and you're playing soft by 10 yards. Here's the pitch to Bowens. A lot of traffic, and he is tripped up. It was all clogged up with the push from Gerard Smith, and that is a loss of 3 yards, Jesse.
Yeah, Anwar Stewart, the D-line coach, does a really good job with this group. He's been doing it for years now. They do a tremendous job of getting 3-star guys, recruiting the right people, and turning them into NFL players and developing them. And again, that's Anwar there. Great player here at Kentucky. Great CFLer as well. But a guy that for years now really has been outstanding coaching this D-line.
2nd and 13. Stockton, that was off the mark, trying to connect with Lawson Lucky.
Pass is incomplete.
And now you've got them in 3rd and very long. This is 3rd and 13. California. You see another Georgia lineman limping off.
Micah Morris.
Micah Morris. You're already down your starting left tackle and Monroe Freeling. And now your starting left guard comes down as well. So there's going to be a lot of true freshmen, a lot of 1st, 2nd, 3rd-year players up on this offensive line in a big passing situation.
So Daniel Calhoun, the redshirt freshman, now in at left guard on 3rd and 13. Whole left side of the line are fresh dogs. Stockton hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. The only guy who had a shot at it was White Helton, but Sam Green was crashing down on Gunnar Stockton, and a flag comes in.
Well, he beat Daniel Calhoun that time, the new player in at left guard on a stunt. He worked him to the inside, and that forced Gunnar Stockton to move.
Pass interference, offense, number 7. That penalty's declined. 4th down.
A lot of inexperience, and it's been that way for Georgia on the offensive line this year with so many different injuries. They're going to get a loop outside here. This is the guy you want to keep your eye on at left guard. In for the first snap. They're trying to pass this off. He completely misses it, though. A nice job by Stockton trying to buy himself some time, but some nice plays here by Kentucky's D-line the last 2 snaps to force this punt.
Thorson to punt. First third down that was not converted by Georgia. This, oh, wow! A left-hand turn by Brett Thorson. Landon Humphreys down there in coverage, and Thorson's punt.
That was unbelievable.
Goes out at the 1-yard line.
You want to know why this guy was a Ray Guy finalist for the best punter in the country and an All-American?
Tore the ACL on his plant leg in the SEC championship game, and Humphreys with a helping hand. Look at this hard left turn by Brett Thorson's punt. That big hit on Stockton, then the 60-yard punt to the 1-yard line by Thorson as Dowdell takes it straight ahead for Kentucky.
Now this is actually, Joe, I think a great area of the field for Kentucky to actually take a shot. And the stats show that a lot of defenses in this position play a lot of press man coverage on the outside, giving you those opportunities. I know it sounds counterintuitive, especially when you're inside your own 5-yard line, but from a coverage standpoint, this is a place that a lot of coordinators like to dial those up.
Redshirt freshman Cutter Boley from his own end zone. Dante Dowdell, and it's going to be 3rd and long as he only gains a yard that time, tackled by Dalen Everett.
And Georgia's defense has to come up big here. 3rd down has been a real bugaboo for them this year, and it absolutely killed them against Alabama. Not able to get enough pressure, and so Georgia's going to change up some of their personnel now in this obvious passing situation, bring some more speed on the field. Elo Medozi, the transfer from Army, now out there. You've got Chris Cole, your best pure pass rusher as well, trying to get after Cutter Boley.
Now, you mentioned it, Jesse. Alabama had 12 third down conversions a week ago. Here's 3rd and 6 as Boley's feet are on the goal line. 4-man rush. They get it into Gilmore's hands, but Gilmore is going to be crowded to find anything as he was run down by Bolden.
That is a fantastic play by DeMello Jones, the cornerback. He's out in the slot, and he had to defeat 2 blockers that time to force the football out. He didn't make a tackle, but watch how physical DeMello Jones is right here. This is a great job of playing with leverage, taking on the blocks. Do not allow the ball carrier to get north. He let the speed from Georgia come and make the play. Really nice work.
And now Aiden LaRose punting from his own end zone as Zachariah Branch could have a chance to give Georgia great field position. Here's Branch revving that engine, and here he goes. Zachariah Branch, flag is down as he darts out inside the 30-yard line.
It's going to get called holding on Georgia on the return. I think it was Justin Williams.
Holding. Receiving team. During the return, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, Justin Williams was the guy that ran into the punter the last time out, didn't get called for a penalty. That time he got caught for holding on the return, and it negates. Really nice effort there by Zachariah Branch.
First penalty on Georgia to date. Now there's concern with the offensive line, Katie.
Yeah, Tess, left guard Micah Morris had his left shoulder tended to, but he came out of the tent. He is going to give it a go, so he's back out there. But Kirby Smart came over to the entire offensive line. He said every play action has been there. Just give us 1 more second. We need 1 more second. Gunner's playing with maximum effort. You have to match his effort. Hold up for longer. This is about stamina. This is about being in shape.
Well, the problem, Katie, is they're getting dangerously thin now on the offensive line. With Ernest Green already out at right tackle, Malachi Tolliver, their backup center, already out. They don't have that many more bodies left.
Frazier with blockers in front and a good spin to pick up 8.5 yards. Nate Frazier. Well, they came out red hot in those first 2 drives, went 75 yards and then 96 yards to get a 2-touchdown lead. Short pitch on 3rd and 2, and Frazier is going to depend on that mark. Maybe a football short of that line to gain.
Well, here's an idea. Look at those numbers you were just talking about, Joe, and the previous drives versus what they've done in the last 2. And They're trying to get that ground game established again and trying to be physical. Mike Bobo is. Now you bring Josh McCray, the 240-pound bruiser from Illinois that does a lot of his work in between the tackles in this 3rd and short situation.
Had the game-winning touchdown against Tennessee. Short yardage back is McCray at 240 pounds as they shift the tight ends to the right side. Play action off of it. Ball was a little awkward coming out because he had a defender right on top of him, and a flag is down at the 19-yard line.
Yeah, it's going to be defensive holding on Hardaway in the back end, and lucky for Georgia.
Holding. Defense, number 6. 10-yard penalty. So it's automatic first down.
Well, Dontrell Glover, the right guard, true freshman, has his hands full with David Gusta right up the middle. And that's who hit Gunnar Stockton and forced the errant throw. But another penalty in the back end for Kentucky's defense, just killing them early in this game.
First down for the Dogs by virtue of the penalty. First and 10 at the Kentucky 21.
Bowens on first down.
Man, Joe, they've got a deep stable of backs.
Don't they?
Georgia, they play 5 different guys. And it's unlike some other committees you see out there where oftentimes you let one guy go, you give him a run of 4 or 5 runs, see if he gets hot, and you ride it. It's not always the case, though, at Georgia. They'll pull guys virtually every single play, so you can't be a streaky runner. Just a few snaps ago, you saw Nate Frazier, then it was Josh McCray. Right in comes Chauncey Bowens. They are deep, and they give these guys chances.
Second and 6, Bowens. And that extra drive inside the 10-yard line. First and goal, Dogs.
Well, the good news is when you have fresh legs, I mean, it shows up. And these guys are running hard that time. Nice job by Dontrell Glover, the true freshman right guard, just getting into the second level. Number 63, you see him there, getting a block to open up a crease. Just big push on Alex Safari Jr., the linebacker. These fresh legs from Georgia in the backfield, man, they just wear you down defensively. You got to keep up with that all game long.
McCray now getting work as he takes it inside the 5-yard line. Jesse, the way they're running the ball here, the consistency, 17 first downs now for Georgia in this first half. Kentucky only has 3.
And this is their game. And how nice is it when you can run the ball in this area of the field, right? In the red zone, the windows to throw into down here are so small. You got to be so precise. You have to have great timing. So you take all that away when you can run it. When the defense knows you're going to run it. And again, this year, they're running it 82% of the time in the red zone.
This is Bell. Touchdown, Georgia. The do-it-all offensive weapon, Dylan Bell.
Really nice job out on the perimeter by Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky on that jet sweep. They're getting blocks out in space. You're getting the speed of Bell this way, but keep an eye on these 2 dudes outside. Number 4, number 7. There's the first block by Delp, the second block by Lucky. That's all Dylan Bell needs. Remember, he had that 43-yard run against Bama last week. He shows off his speed.
And just like that, after Kentucky felt like they found a little hope, Georgia pushes it back to a 14-point lead thanks to the senior from Texas, Dylan Bell. Just the start of a big day here on ABC. We got Vandy and Bama coming up next, and then 7:30 Saturday Night Football presented by Capital One. Number 3 Miami against number 18 Florida State. But Jesse, Vanderbilt, number 16 in the country, top 10 Alabama. Of course, a year ago was Alabama defeating Georgia, and then the shocker against Vanderbilt.
You know, Ty Simpson, if you've watched him play his last 3 games, he's playing at a Heisman Trophy caliber level. Ball is not hitting the ground.
Penalty flag comes down at the end of that
Free kick out of
kickoff.
bounds. Kicking team number 91. Ball be placed at the 35. First down.
What's going on, Mr. Nagandi?
Good afternoon. That game on ESPN2. Back to you, Tess.
All right, a lot to devour at the half. Kevin Booger will get us all set with that. Here's the tap pass to Law. And Law able to turn the corner for maybe 4.5, 5 yards.
Completing forward passes to wide receivers is just a challenge right now for Kentucky. Receivers have 7 catches in this game, Joe. The ball has not yet passed the line of scrimmage. That was a big problem for them a week ago against South Carolina as well. They only had 3 catches for 21 yards when it was thrown beyond the line of scrimmage. When you can't throw the ball overhand, downfield, it's really hard to win games.
Yeah, the other big play was a screen pass, to your point. Here's McGowan as he will pick up the first down for Kentucky.
But you got to do it how you do it then. And this is just going to be the formula this year for Kentucky as a Georgia player, slow to get up.
As we've reached the 2-minute timeout here, that is Jordan Hall, who's an excellent defensive lineman. He was dealing with stress fractures in both legs last year. He's been completely healthy this season up until this moment as they check on him and we take a timeout. Seeing Katie with you here in Athens. Seth McGowan takes it ahead for Kentucky. Moments ago, we saw Jordan Hall come off the field.
Yeah, he's locked up with Jalen Farmer. You're going to just see it right up here, number 52. That's kind of where he just kind of plants it awkwardly, then goes down to the ground. We saw him just limping gingerly, not putting a lot of weight on that right leg on his way to the tent.
He just came out of that medical tent, but you can see the noticeable limp from the big starting defensive lineman. 2nd and 6. Boley, shallow cross is complete as McGowan tries to reach out for that line to gain, but it'll be 3rd and 1.
Well, he doesn't get first down, and so the game clock is not going to stop here under 2 minutes to go in the first half. So barely missing that, really costing Kentucky's offense now precious seconds.
They have 2 timeouts remaining. Right now, they want to stay on the field with a first down on 3rd and 1.
We're taking a lot of time here, Joe.
Cutter Boley is looking to shift his receivers to the top of your screen. And then Law comes in attached to that H position.
20-something seconds gone. And now they call a timeout. That is terrible clock management there by Kentucky.
So 1 timeout remains. 49 seconds left in this first half as they were dealing with that 3rd and 1. Keep in mind, Cutter Boley, we talked about it. Zach Calzada was the starter. Boley, the redshirt freshman.
A miscommunication there, it looks like, with Boley in terms of what the play call was or what the formation was. They had to get receivers from the right side. They had to flip them all the way over to the left. And because they did not pick up the first down and not use a timeout, obviously the clock just kept ticking away. This is a big opportunity here for Kentucky, Joe, with 49 seconds to go and 1 timeout left. Remember, they're going to get the ball first in the second half. So any way they can generate any type of points here at the end of this period is huge for their momentum and their confidence going into halftime.
The offensive coordinator, Bush Hamden, said to us that, hey, Boley's in a bit of a tough spot. He didn't take many first-team reps through the offseason and through fall camp. So you're seeing that inexperience moments ago. 1 timeout remains, 49 seconds left in this first half, and a 3rd and 1 in a tough environment. Third and 1, this is Law, and Kendrick Law will weave his way for a first down for the Cats.
Well, the good news for Kentucky now, you're already in kicker Jacob Callaway's range. He's a guy that hasn't missed this year at all. Mark Stoops told us he's good from 60 yards. So right now at the 36-yard line, you are well within Callaway's range.
Let's see how they manage these final moments of the first half. A quick out to the outside to Rodriguez.
Nice job in the 2-minute situation there by Boley. Understanding where they are on the field, out-breaking route. You're going to be able to stop the clock again. Nice accurate throw and a good play call by Bush Hamden, getting it out of his hands quickly.
Remember, Kentucky will receive the second half kickoff, so they could gather some momentum here, just get on the board, and then receive the ball and try to chip into this 14-point lead by number 12, Georgia. Boley on 2nd and 5. Here's McGowan. as McGowan makes his way to the 20-yard line.
You get the first down, so the clock's going to stop. You don't have to burn the timeout, but you got to get a play call in. And if you're Cutter Boley here, right, you can't take sacks. You have to have a plan. If your guy's not open, you're throwing this thing out of bounds.
Boley, under 20 seconds to go, inside the 10-yard line to Rodriguez.
These tight ends are going to work right now on the secondary of Georgia. Jonel Aguero matched up one-on-one with a very athletic Willie Rodriguez, who's able to get out of bounds and stop the clock. This has been perfect these last 3 plays for Kentucky in the 2 minutes, but they got to get the play call and they got to communicate.
1 timeout remaining. 15 seconds to go in the first half.
Man, Joe, how big would it be if Kentucky could score a touchdown here and make this a 1-possession game?
They're reviewing that last play, Jesse.
Yeah.
That catch by Rodriguez.
As Jonel Aguero on defense, trying to knock this thing loose, gets the hand down. Does he have complete and continuous control before going out of bounds? I think that's going to be the question. I think he has it there in the belly, and then the knee goes down, he's out of bounds, then it pops out. I think that's a catch.
What does Matt Austin, our rules expert, say? Matty?
Well, this one's going to be interesting because he was an upright receiver, but he was contacted immediately. So the judgment for the replay official is going to be, does he have to survive the ground? I'm with you. I think he was upright. He caught the ball, so he should not be considered going to the ground. It should be down the minute his knee hit the ground. It should be a catch.
Wow. I mean, he has his right foot down. He's dragging the left toe before he gets out of bounds.
So Matt Austin says it should be a catch, but what will the SEC officiating crew say?
After further review, the receiver didn't complete the process of the catch. It's an incomplete.
Wow.
It'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 20-yard line.
Matt Austin, how surprised are you by that?
Well, like I said, it's a very subjective call. He was contacted while he was, as soon as he contacted the ball, so I can understand why they wanted to consider him a receiver going to the ground, so therefore he would have to survive it. But in my opinion, I thought he earned it and only went to the ground because of the tackle.
Well, man, now it sets him back in 2nd and long. We've talked about the issues and how they don't have a lot of dynamic guys at wide receiver, so who do you have to throw to if you're Cutter Boley? The guys that have been making plays are Willie Rodriguez and Josh Caddis at tight end. Rodriguez right now up here in the slot.
2nd and 10 now from the 20 after that was ruled incomplete. 15 seconds until halftime. Boley on the slant. Remember, they have the timeout. They get the first down. Macklin with the reception.
They go fast here. They don't have to use it.
Nope, they don't.
They can clock it. Really good job. There you go.
Excellent management by Cutter Boley. And you can see him gaining confidence on this drive, Jesse.
Only a redshirt freshman, right? And every time he takes the field, Joe, he's learning something new. And obviously had a lot of coachable moments and things to learn from a week ago in that loss against South Carolina. But you're right. You're seeing the confidence, and it's growing. He's playing very poised in a big situation here. 8 seconds to go. If you get a quick throw out of his hand, just can't hold on to it very long.
And a timeout is going to be used by Georgia. So 8 seconds to go, and Kirby and that staff is going to talk things over defensively. Now, we've mentioned the home winning streak, 33 games snapped by Alabama, the struggles that Kentucky has had here, especially when playing a ranked Georgia team. And, you know, this being a day where you know it's going to be a tough environment. You're going to get the very best version of Georgia.
And here's the deal. Here's what you know about Kentucky, though. When they play their game, they can beat almost anybody in the SEC. When they run the ball, they don't turn it over, and that's key, and they haven't turned it over yet in this one. Their defense makes a few plays. That's how they beat Ole Miss last year.
Right.
That's how they almost beat Georgia last year. That's how they almost beat Ole Miss this year, too. And this is kind of where Mark Stoops wants to get you. They want to just drag you into deep water in the fourth quarter, and this is a massive opportunity. He's got to be feeling pretty good with how good Cutter Boley's been looking here as of late.
This is a big opportunity for Kentucky. They will receive the second half kickoff, but how can they cap this first half? Right here, 2nd and goal, 8 seconds till half, 1 timeout remaining. Looking for an option. And he throws it out of the back of the end zone.
They're lucky that wasn't a false start penalty, Joe, because the snap was late from the center. 4 offensive linemen moved before Jager Burton snapped that ball. Very lucky this wasn't a penalty. Just watch this. 4 guys move, and then the snap comes. I think that easily could have been called false start on Kentucky.
So Jacob Coway will head on out for the short field goal attempt. Can you believe that? He has been so good on the year, and he misses a 26-yarder. Let's watch this. No, I mean, he hit an X-ball that he just came across. Bad contact by Coway. And by the way, Georgia's 56-0 when leading at halftime by 14 points or more under Kirby Smart. 56-0 with a score like this. Katie.
Thanks, Tess. Kirby, Kentucky can't cash in. How would you assess their defense's play so far?
What was that? I couldn't hear what you said.
Kentucky was unable to cash in. How would you assess your defense's play so far?
Bend but don't break. You know what I mean? We're not getting the 3 and outs we want to get, but they are getting some stops. We've been better on 3rd down and can't kick the ball out of bounds and let them start on the 35.
Your offensive line is a bit banged up. How do you feel like they've handled the reshuffling?
They're warriors. They're a great group, but we got guys playing like every position, so we'll try to put a group together to go out there in the second half.
Thanks for the time.
Gunnar Stockton with 2 rushing touchdowns in that first half. 21-7 as we send you to the State Farm halftime report with Kevin and Booker. Gentlemen, take it away. Back here in the SEC on ABC from Athens, Georgia, where college football on ABC is presented by Starbucks. It is 21-7. Number 12, Georgia, with 3 rushing touchdowns in that first half. Kentucky receiving the ball to start this second half. Told you, Georgia 56-0 under Coach Kirby Smart when they have a 14-point or more lead at the half. Georgia with a methodical offense in that first half. 42 plays to Kentucky's 25. And only one was over 20 yards. They controlled the clock, ran the ball well, and now we'll see how Kentucky deals with things. Joe Tessitore and Jesse Palmer with you up in the booth. Listen, what a missed opportunity at the end of that first half. And now it puts pressure on this drive here for Kentucky.
It's crazy. Even after the missed field goal, even with the 4 penalties, they can still drive the field now, score a touchdown, and make this thing a 1-possession game. I've been really impressed with the play of Cutter Boley at quarterback. I think probably the thought coming into this one was, hey, redshirt freshman on the road. Let's just run the ball, manage the game. He's throwing it really well, Joe. He's been accurate, making good decisions. They've actually thrown the ball almost twice as much as they've run it. And you get the thought here, if they're going to come back and win this thing, they may have to keep riding the arm of this young quarterback.
And most of that work has been short to the running backs, the tight ends, or the screen work to Law. Here's a sprint as he gets it to Ferrier.
I think we're learning a lot about this young quarterback, too, in Boley, who had a rough day at the office against South Carolina, right? Sacked 6 times. One of those is a sack, scoop, score, fumble. He throws 2 picks, 1 return to the house, and that's hard to come back from. But to be a successful quarterback, you got to be resilient, and you got to be able to turn the page. And I've been impressed with how he's been competing in this game.
McGowan on 2nd and 7, and Seth McGowan with a good run. It'll be 3rd and short. Griffin with the tackle.
And he's not getting it enough either. Only 6 carries in that first half. He's been running hard and running with the purpose, and I think they can blend the quick passes with more run from Seth McGowan and try and keep some balance offensively. It's a great spot for him here as well.
Third and 1 as Coach Stoops looks on. Short pitch, McGowan to the right side. And McGowan will have the first down for the Cats.
Well, the nice thing about a pistol set, and Kentucky does it a lot, is they don't tip off where the running back is going to go. On this play, if he lines up right here, the defensive line can expect that and they can all slant. But back here, you're not sure if he's going there or there or there. And it keeps the D-line just off balance for a half second. And McGowan able to pick up the first.
That's just the second third down conversion for Kentucky. 2 of 5 on the day. McGowan, a little bit of hesitation, and then darts ahead for a couple of yards. Ball came out at the end there as Georgia is claiming that it is a fumble recovery, but officials are coming in to mark that this may be a fumble if you.
He's going down to the ground. I think it was Chris Jones who got to him first, and then it was Dalen Everett getting involved.
It was a fumble recovered by the offense. Second down.
And then C.J. Allen. There were 3 different Bulldogs around this ball. Check this out again. McGowan's going down. That's Chris Jones. Ball's in his left hand. It gets punched out right there by C.J. Allen. That was absolutely a fumble. Kentucky very, very lucky. We talked about their formula for victory. You can't turn it over. They almost had one there.
And now you're going to see the officials will take an official timeout to deal with what we just saw. As moments ago we showed you the replay.
They're going to take a look at the recovery.
Yeah, I think they want to see who
Georgia is
jumped on it.
challenging the ruling on the field of a fumble recovered by Kentucky. That play is under further review.
So the officials on the field say a fumble recovered by Kentucky, which would respot the ball. But let's take a look and see this recovery. I mean, because right there you see C.J. Allen rolling over on his back with the ball in his hand.
I mean, I don't see where Seth McGowan ever reassumed possession of the football after the fumble. It was kind of in his belly for a split second, but was it complete control of it? I don't know.
C.J. Allen's actually getting up to celebrate the fumble recovery at the end there when the ball then comes loose out of his hand.
And you saw Cutter Boley was so upset on the line of scrimmage. He was trying to go fast, so they couldn't review it.
Replay buzzed us prior to the stoppage. Therefore, there was no timeout for Georgia.
And Cutter Boley shaking his head thinking, we got to get to the line of scrimmage and run a play so they can't review this thing and we just keep going. But they were slow. And maybe Cutter Boley saw something that the refs didn't see. He might have known that Georgia actually assumed possession of that football.
So officially this is a review, as this is the turnover that we saw moments ago.
And it's such a great play by C.J. Allen. He's been a monster for Georgia's defense at the linebacker level. So big and physical. At 235, can go sideline to sideline. And a perfect punch out that time to get it loose. Matt, what Matt Austin thinks.
Yeah, Matt, let's go through the language here because they're saying a fumble that's recovered by Kentucky. What do you see here?
Well, as you guys mentioned, it's definitely a fumble. The Georgia player does have 2 hands on the ball, as Jesse alluded to. He's rolling over trying to get up. I think that's enough control to give this ball back to Kentucky.
I agree.
Control, a body part down, I think it's Georgia's ball.
Jesse, he's got the ball. He's getting up to celebrate at that
and then
point.
kind of lets it go before the offensive lineman. That was Wolschlager, kind of dives on top of it there for Kentucky. You know, it all happens bang, bang, bang really, really fast. When you slow it down, it helps provide a little bit of a clearer picture. But remember, the ruling on the field is a fumble recovered by Kentucky, so you need indisputable video evidence to overturn this call.
Let's see if they feel they have it.
After further review, Georgia did recover the fumble with possession. The ball be placed at the 38-yard line. First down, Georgia.
Jesse, I think this is a worst-case scenario for Kentucky. They drive the ball all the way down before halftime. They don't come away with a point. They know they're getting the second half kickoff, and that is a turnover.
Yeah, and things were looking good early in that drive for Kentucky as well, but give Georgia credit on defense. They're creating their own opportunity. C.J. Allen getting that ball back, and now you're in a sudden change situation for Georgia. This is a place that a lot of coordinators like to take a shot. You've got Kentucky's defense taking the field. They weren't expecting to. They might be out of sorts a little bit in communication. And is this a place where you take a shot to a Colby Young downfield if you're Gunnar Stockton?
That's the first fumble recovery for Georgia this season. Last year they had 10. Georgia takes over on the plus side of the field after C.J. Allen with the forced fumble and recovery. White Phillips is going to be tackled for a loss. Unstoppable performance is presented by Ram Truck.
Well, they got stuff there on the run, but they've been doing a pretty good job in this game so far. This is a critical 3rd and 5 in the opening drive. Kentucky dropping 8 into coverage, but they lose their pass rush lane integrity. Gunnar Stockton able to get outside and go score. I know they've been banged up a little bit too. Micah Morris are doing a great job opening some space for Chauncey Bowens around the outside. And it's not just O-linemen, Joe. The tight ends, Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky, getting involved. They've run it successfully, 134 yards, different guys.
As he's able to connect with Delp, and look at Oscar Delp! He hit another gear, and it's 1st and goal, Georgia.
Well, you just got to get it to him quickly, and he does a great job. There's no hesitation. As soon as he catches this thing, he turns it upfield, and I'm not sure why this time. Davon Rayner, number 7, he just kind of paused after Delp caught the pass. I don't know why he didn't just go and tackle him right after the catch. But it's a big-time play, and now Georgia set up right at about the 5-yard line.
A 36-yard reception by Delp. And with some of the confusion pre-snap, Georgia's going to use a timeout. Their outstanding junior tight end has put them in position. We'll take a quick timeout. It's 1st and goal, Dogs, when we return. Good homecoming weekend here in the Taco Bell Live Más Student Section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más Student Section of the Year. Who's going to take home that trophy? These students here are living really well in Athens, like the ones we saw last night at Osteria Olio and Chef JR, and they're running up those big tabs on their parents' chart.
It's an expensive tab, too.
Here's 1st and goal now. Bowens on the pitch, finds a lane, and he gets down inside the 2-yard line.
Kentucky here is just trying to hold on. Do they have a goal line stand in them? Georgia going fast, getting right back lined up quickly.
And with that, here's Bowens, who is met right at the line of scrimmage. Good job by the Cats interior with Gusta and Rayner.
Because you missed the field goal and then you turn it over. You had multiple chances to make this a one-possession game. If they score a touchdown here, all of a sudden it's a 21-point game, and it starts to feel like it's getting away a little bit. So their backs against the wall. This Kentucky D-line, this front 7, they're trying to get physical.
Nate Frazier comes in as the featured back here on 3rd and goal. Instead, it's Bell. And oh, is it easy. Dylan Bell again. His 2nd rushing touchdown of the afternoon.
Everything from Georgia going to the left. All of this fast flow this way gets everything on defense coming this way. But it was Dylan Bell going the other way here on the reverse. Just everyone losing their eye discipline on the backside, and that's the 2nd touchdown for Dylan Bell on the ground. And now Georgia, we talked about it, starting to blow this thing a little more wide open.
There was Kentucky with the ball before halftime, thinking they could get on the board. Then they get the ball in the 2nd half. Instead, a missed field goal, a turnover, and a Georgia rushing touchdown again. And it only took 5 plays covering 38 yards, Jesse, to do it after the turnover.
Yeah, Joe, I mean, listen, you know with Kentucky, the margin of error to winning a game like this is so small. You can't turn the ball over. You're not going to be able to miss field goals. You can't have penalties, and all those things are now starting to add up, and that's why the score looks the way it does. Really nice job with that play call again by Mike Bobo. I've been impressed with how they've run it. It's been a little bit of the running backs. We've seen multiple guys get carries. Gunnar Stockton's had success on designed runs, on scrambles. And Dylan Bell, wide receiver, man, he is having himself a day here in Athens.
A week ago, it was that heavyweight clash with Alabama that snapped the 33-game home winning streak. locked in this week, as they have done time and again after moments like that under Kirby Smart. And it's 28-7 here on that same home turf.
Another touchdown for Peyton Whitman.
Tomorrow on Sunday, NFL Countdown, the Ravens playing without Lamar Jackson. And it's all access with the NFL's rushing leader, Jonathan Taylor. That's at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN. Week 5 of Monday Night Football. It celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month as the Chiefs take on the Jaguars. And 8 p.m. Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN app. You can watch that. And coverage kicks off with Monday Night Countdown at 6 p.m. Peyton and Eli come your way on ESPN2. McGowan fumbled last time out, and now Boley going to take a strike downfield, and it is beyond the reach of Josh Caddis.
When you can't throw the ball, Joe, situationally, it puts you in tough spots. Obviously, on third downs, it's hard to stay on the field. In the red zone, it's hard to score plays. And when you get down on the scoreboard like this, it's really hard to play catch-up. If you can't drop back to pass, 5- and 7-step drops, and push it vertically to everybody, not just your tight ends, to receivers as well. This is an area Kentucky has been really limited at this season.
And remember, they're one of 4 teams in the country without a passing touchdown to a wide receiver this season. McGowan, he was tripped up and then he was met. And that's Josh Horton, who was a stonewall at the line of scrimmage.
And here's a situation where Georgia has to get better. 3rd and long to generate the pass rush. Just 5 sacks on the season. No more Mikael Williams, first-round pick. No more Jalen Walker, first-round pick. Chaz Chambliss playing for the Vikings. Even Damon Wilson, who's expected to play a big role this year, transferred to Missouri. He's lighting it up. Who can finally step up for Georgia and rush the passer?
Third and 10. Boley gets it downfield and connects with Gilmore.
Well, I like this play call by Bush Hamdan here, moving the pocket and changing the launch point. They get a great block at tight end right here, which is going to buy some time for Boley and give him a clear vision. And that's a nice, accurate throw on the run to Hartley Gilmore.
McGowan, as he goes straight ahead for a couple of yards.
You kind of feel like if you're Kentucky now, you've got to generate points on every drive, right? You're down 21. Even if it's field goals, you can't come off the field without clawing away at this lead. And a lot of that, I think, is just going to have to come from Cutter Boley on vertical throws like what you just saw.
2nd and 8. Boley trying to go underneath to McGowan, but it'll be 3rd and 8 now.
Well, I mean, that throw to Gilmore was their first catch by a receiver today where the ball crossed the line of scrimmage. And they were having to get creative, and we'll see what Bush Hamdan dials up here. An obvious passing situation where you know Georgia's going to be pinning their ears back. Can this offensive line hang on with this crowd noise?
Third and 8. Boley pressure up the middle. As it's incomplete, everybody was running toward that near side boundary. Ferrier was the intended target, but DeMello Jones batted it away.
Yeah, Kristen Miller makes that play. He's their best interior defensive lineman. Tremendous quickness right out of his stance, and he's going to get the penetration, which forces Boley to have to roll to his right. You know, Georgia doesn't have this big exotic package like a lot of defenses do in college football where they have crazy personnel and crazy fronts. They just sort of let their guys rush, which I think has been a bit of a problem. I think they need more creativity on third downs, but that time Miller getting it done.
Penalty flag is down as the punt is fielded near the 24-yard line by Branch.
Illegal formation. Kicking team. 5 players in the backfield. That 5-yard penalty added the end of the kick. First down. Timeout.
So that is where the Georgia offense and Gunnar Stockton will take over when we come back to Sanford Stadium. Touchdowns to the Dylan Bell with 2 rushing touchdowns today. And Georgia coming off the loss to Alabama with a 28-7 lead over Kentucky. They've won 8 straight after a loss in recent years. Here's Bowens.
Well, Tess, Jess, this is where we currently stand with Georgia's offensive line. Coming into the game, true freshman Juan Gaston started at right tackle for Ernest Green, who's missing his 2nd straight game. Bo Hughley has come into play left tackle for an injured Monroe Freeling. Freeling injured that left ankle in the first quarter. Next to him at left guard, Micah Morris. He's playing through a left shoulder issue. So a lot of reshuffling for this Georgia offensive line, guys.
Katie, behind that offensive line, 6 yards earned by Bowen, so it's 2nd and 4. As he will get the carry here as he falls ahead towards that line to gain.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the big story, I think, Katie, on offense this year. I mean, 4 new starters up front heading into this season, and with all the injuries they've had, they have 4 different starting lineups coming into this game, so not a lot of continuity and a lot of inexperience on the right side, and now on the left side as well. And Kirby Smart's O-line, man, they're getting a baptism by fire against good D-lines in Tennessee, and then last week at Alabama, and a big physical D-line in Kentucky here today, too.
Frazier. Nice hole for Frazier as another first down for Georgia, Jesse.
But even after all that, Joe, I love the way that Mike Bobo just stays patient with the run. Frazier's getting up a bit gingerly there, and he just believes in body blows. And all these runs are just wearing this defense down. Fresh legs coming in, let the big fellas up front work.
And among the big fellas up front is his son, Mike Bobo's son. Drew Bobo is the starting center. We had an interesting conversation with him, Katie, about his career arc and path.
Okay, well, he almost quit football on multiple occasions. He thought he was going to be this basketball player in the 9th grade when he made the varsity squad. He told his dad, hey, I don't want to play football anymore. And Mike Bobo said, okay, well, then go tell your coach tomorrow after school. And he said, well, I'm not ready to do that. Not quite yet. And so with every move, every stop they made, he was eventually moved to starting center. And obviously, as you guys have seen, he's turned into a fantastic SEC lineman.
Here on 2nd and 8, Bowens, he goes ahead. So he's a guy who's playing basketball, actually. 6'4". He made varsity high school basketball as a freshman. Didn't start playing offensive line until his junior year of high school.
He was tall in the 9th grade, right? Tall and skinny, his dad said, and he just kind of kept putting on weight, and it was maybe tight end, and now he's moved into center, and he's really done a great job. This is an offensive line that is completely retooled from a year ago, but right in the middle, Drew Bobo doing a nice job making the calls, communicating, and he's been a nice constant for Georgia up front.
Cash Jones in as their 3rd down specialist. 3rd and 4 for Stockton going downfield. Wow! Dylan Bell! One-handed right into the pocket.
And that's a throw, Joe, that recently Gunnar Stockton hasn't been willing to take because Dylan Bell's not wide open by any stretch. He's got a step on Hardaway. What a throw, and an even better catch one-handed by Dylan Bell.
Cash Jones, as he's brought down. I mean, you want eye candy. You want to see it again and again, because you will with what Dylan Bell just did.
And Gunnar Stockton's got to take more of these shots. It's not just with Dylan Bell, but when it's with Colby Young or when it's with Noah Thomas, London Humphreys, these guys outside, they can win, and they can make these plays if you give them an opportunity. Perfect throw, and even better catch And the vertical passing game, Joe, is the one element that I think is missing from Georgia's offense early this year. If they get that figured out, they're going to be nearly impossible to stop.
Jones lost 5 yards, so a 2nd and goal from the 15. Bowens.
And just like that, falling forward, right, for Bowens. Really nice job with leg drive. I mean, that looks like that's going to get stopped and tackled. But really good running backs always find a way to somehow just fall forward. The redshirt freshman, you've got to be impressed with his physicality. And obviously, you know, the big run against Bama a week ago, the 43-yarder kind of showed you what he could do. But he's now kind of emerging as the go-to back in this stable that Georgia has.
3rd down and goal from the 11-yard line. And there was some movement.
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 16, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
You see what's coming your way right here on ABC. It'll be the rematch from the Shocker a year ago. And Vandy's a really good-looking team. Number 16 in the country against top 10 Alabama, coming off their victory here against Georgia. And then Arch Manning in Gainesville on ESPN. 3rd and goal from the 11. They go underneath to Cash Jones. Jones with a stiff arm and a touchdown. Cash is in.
Well, Stetson Bennett.
Flag is down all the way back at the 26-yard line.
I think it's going to be a late hit on Gunnar Stockton.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense, number 35, contact to the helmet. That penalty ensued. Force on a succeeding kickoff, results in play as a touchdown.
Well, Gunnar Stockton does a really good job with his eyes on this touchdown pass. He's watching the linebacker. He's going to drop out. As soon as that happens, now he has Cash Jones on the angle route. The area is vacated. And how about the speed? Kentucky has been a poor tackling defense this year. Jordan Lovett, who left the game earlier with an injury after he had that interception, not able to get it done. And Georgia back on the board. The Dogs now just rolling.
Cash Jones, of course, everybody going back to a week ago, that 4th and 1 in the 4th quarter when he was tackled for a loss, stumbling, and then the penetration as the freshman right tackle, Juan Gasson, who we've focused in on, he gave way just a little bit. You just had the sense if that one dynamic play by Latham didn't happen, the Alabama defensive end, Georgia would be...
There's so many plays.
Yeah.
I went back and watched the game again yesterday, and if K.J. Bolden doesn't drop an interception on the first drive, if Taylor doesn't drop a walk-in touchdown on a post in the second half, I mean, that play you're talking about with Cash Jones, I mean, any of those go the other way, and it's a completely different game.
Cash Jones with the touchdown reception as Georgia getting back to their dominating, winning ways. 35-7 here at Sanford Stadium. Gunnar Stockton, a couple of touchdown runs and this touchdown pass. For 20 years, Allstate has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes, and we thank Allstate for that. Joe, Jesse, and Katie here in Athens, 35-7, Georgia. Squib kick. It was fielded at the 5-yard line. And good coverage downfield against Kendrick Law.
Well, guys, Kentucky running back Seth McGowan has suffered a leg injury. One of his offensive linemen fell on top of him during the last drive. He's been visibly upset and frustrated over here on the sidelines. He's considered questionable to return. And then his quarterback, Cutter Boley, spent a lot of time with the training staff getting his neck stretched and worked on. He's dealing with some discomfort. It looks like we could see Zach Calzada out there.
Wow. Well, Katie, obviously Dante Dowdell, he's in there right now. He's the bigger running back. Jason Patterson is a a talented redshirt freshman they've got on the bench as well. Is probably going to get some run, but this is not the time to be losing players of that caliber.
So Boley, after the Cairo adjustment, out there on the field, and it's incomplete as he was looking for Fred Ferrier, covered by Robinson.
Just can't get open and can't separate. Nice job in coverage by Ellis Robinson, the #1 recruit in high school coming out in 2024. He's been a little bit up and down this year. He's a guy with tremendous speed, good hips. He's fluid and good coverage ability. He's allowed touchdowns in each of the last 2 games. He's a guy they had really high hopes for. He's a guy, certainly Georgia's defense, they need him to grow up fast.
There's the pill. That's a bad pitch. And Law is going to be tackled all the way back at the 10-yard line.
And you just got to pitch that a little bit sooner. I know Cutter Boley's trying to hang on to it as long as he can. Raylan Wilson absolutely stuck him right in his chest, right between the 8. And it forces the errant pitch. Raylan Wilson had a big sack, forced fumble in this exact game a year ago, and here he forces another one. That is textbook.
Third and 13 after that. They go with the inside screen to Hester, and a flag is down right as he catches it and makes his way upfield near the 15.
Holding defense number 6. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So bailed out with the penalty on the 3rd and 13.
Yeah.
They tag Everett.
It was Dalen Everett because he's covering J.J. Hester on that screen and tried to press him right off the ball. You'll see at the top there. He just holds on to the jersey right in front of the referee. It's an easy call to make, and that's a fresh set of downs for Kentucky. Now, we talked about the lack of pass rush Georgia has had this year defensively. I think another area, another hole right now has been the inconsistent cornerback play as well on the perimeter. It hasn't shown itself so much in this game specifically, but that's a thing to keep an eye on moving forward.
Dante Dowdell, he just gains 1.5 yards.
You know, it's just funny. I mean, it's kind of a foregone conclusion that because it's Georgia, they're always going to replace NFL talent. They've had 11 first-round picks in the last 5 years. You just think, okay, well, one guy leaves, and then you bring in another first-round guy. That hasn't quite been the case when you lose guys like Mikael Williams and Jalen Walker in pass rush and in the back end. I mean, they've got highly recruited guys out there playing. We just showed you Ellis Robinson a moment ago, and Chris Cole. These guys just not producing yet at the level that I think people are accustomed to.
2nd and 8. Boley. And just waiting for it downfield, but incomplete was Ferrier. Everett had coverage.
Yeah, it was Boley who Ferrier got behind Dalen Everett that time, and Cutter Boley's just got to get this thing out a little bit sooner and give his guy an opportunity. Now you're setting up 3rd and long again. Can Georgia bring the pass rush? Who can get the win? Again, you don't see a lot of exotic fronts where they overload one side or they crowd the A-gaps and drop guys out and try and confuse you. It's very standard and very basic, but that means you got to win one-on-ones up front.
3rd down and 8. 4-man rush against Boley. He's being chased and running out of room and just dives ahead for a couple of yards.
That time he was trying to throw to J.J. Hester. He fell down on the route, and that forced Boley to hold on to it.
He doesn't
try to make what he could. He's having a hard time getting over to the sideline.
Watch the end of this play, Jess.
Yeah. Trying to get down in pursuit. That's Elijah Griffin, #1 ranked defensive tackle coming out of high school. And all 310 pounds falling on him.
Remember, Vandy at Alabama is coming up next. Molly, what say you?
Well, Tess, earlier this week, Vanderbilt quarterback Diego Pavia has said if we play our game, it won't be close, predicting a blowout here in Tuscaloosa. And his teammates said that belief was the reason why they were able to win this game last year and why they think they can do it again this time. But Jesse, both of these teams very different from last season.
Yeah, no question. And obviously, Molly, Diego Pavia, you know, he makes a lot of headlines. He's been so good this year throwing the football. But if you've watched Vandy play, they've been excellent running the ball. They're averaging 6.5 yards per carry. That's tops in the SEC. One area of concern for Bama defensively is stopping the run. So for Pavia and Vandy, if they're going to get this win on the road in that environment, they've got to be able to run the football.
Ryan Puglisi is in at quarterback as he hands to Bowens. And Pug is one of those guys who everybody around here is very high on. He's a good athlete. He's got a strong arm. He grew up in New England outside of Boston and then played his prep ball at Avon Old Farms in Connecticut. And that league, that Founders League, has become a powerhouse of SEC recruiting, believe it or not, up in Connecticut. And he was one of the star recruits in recent years, the backup quarterback, Puglisi. Here's Ryan, and you see how he can drive the ball as he gets it complete to Colby Young.
No, I mean, he looks really good. In warm-ups watching him throw, I mean, when it comes out on time, he's got an absolute hose. And that's a nice job of just taking your steps. One hitch, ball comes out now before Colby Young's turn. Good, accurate throw. I mean, he looks the part at 6'3", 210 pounds. He's athletic too, Joe. He can also take off and run. There's a lot of different elements and levels to his game.
Now, this is a guy who was once ranked as high as the #3 baseball prospect coming out of New England, but a football star from Avon Old Farms and potentially the future here at Georgia. Puglisi again, as he comes into this game and starts to work his stuff, as you could see him connecting with Williams.
Elias Williams. How good has Georgia's tight end room been for years now? Of course, everybody remembers Brock Bowers, but we've seen Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky make plays in this one. Now Elias Williams, 6'7", 255-pound true freshman, getting it on the work too.
35-7. Georgia on top as the SEC on ABC presented by Starbucks returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Sanford Stadium rocking on an SEC Saturday as you're watching the SEC on ABC. Start of the fourth quarter, 35-7. Number 12 team in the country. The reset bounce back after the clash with Bama. Backup quarterback who's got a great arm is in, and he connects with Williams, the true freshman tight end.
He's really finding a rhythm here early in this game, and I like that Mike Bobo is letting him throw it. They're trying to get this guy experience. You want it to be meaningful, and it'd be easy in a situation where you're up 35-7 and just run the ball and just take the dub and get into the locker room. You got an opportunity to develop a guy that may be a big part of the future here at Georgia.
McCray, he's going to be tackled for a loss. So that third quarter that put them in position to sit Gunnar Stockton, Kentucky just had 31 yards of offense. Georgia had 153 thanks to that guy. There's his day, Jesse.
Yeah, really outside of the interception, Joe, I think it's been a really good day for Gunnar Stockton. And I like the fact that he was aggressive. He took shots downfield. Didn't hit all of them, but when he had the one-on-one matchups, he was not afraid to let it fly. He got a big one to Dylan Bell recently. I think that trend has to continue for this offense to keep taking off.
There's McCray. Maybe third and long.
It's just amazing. You know, we're watching some of these backups now take the field for Georgia, and you just talk about the talent. We're like mentioning, talked about the running backs, obviously, but the tight ends, too. And you're mentioning Elias Williams, the #1 tight end coming out of high school, makes a few catches. Jaden Riddell is out there right now as well. He's a redshirt freshman. By the way, he was the #1 tight end 2 years ago. And it's like a revolving door of dudes that take the field. I mean, in the NIL era, you can't stockpile the way you used to. But, man, this bench for Georgia is still looking really good.
It's 3rd and 9. Every time we prep a Georgia game, you just marvel. Puglisi looking to run it himself on 3rd and 9, and he nearly picks it up.
He's going to have to slide, though. He's going to have to learn, a young player, just get down. He took a big shot That time from Jansen Dunn, the Ohio State transfer at safety. These all learning moments, obviously. Puglisi, another one of those guys, though, Joe. He was the number 6 ranked pocket passer coming out, and you can see why. His game actually kind of reminds me of Carson Beck a little bit. Just his body type, the arm talent, just how natural of a thrower he is.
Of course, we're going to see Carson Beck in action right here on ABC at 7:30 tonight. Number 3, Miami against number 18, Florida State. 4th and 1. And McCray trying to get those tough yards, and based on that mark, I think we may have a turnover on downs.
Yeah, you got to give Kentucky credit because they're way down on the scoreboard, but these guys are still playing hard and fighting hard. Their starter's still out there. Great work there, just getting the stop.
We'll take a break. 12 and a half minutes to play here between the hedges. Jesse, what's getting your attention when we look at the college football rankings brought to you by Capital One?
Everyone's looking at Miami and Florida State, and obviously Bama at Vandy. Texas A&M, Mississippi State, though, to me is a really interesting one. Jeff Levy's team in Starkville, much different than they were a year ago. They are not an easy out. Ask Tennessee about that. Offensively and defensively, it can create some problems.
Get it quickly to Gilmore. And Gilmore spins his way out towards the 18-yard line. Well, speaking of Mississippi State, let's remind you what is coming your way on the SEC network. Oklahoma's going to be hosting Kent State in just about an hour and 10 minutes. And then there it is tonight, Mississippi State against number 6 Texas A&M. Of course, we called that Auburn-Texas A&M game last week, and now a number 6 next to their name for the Aggies. Boley to the outside as Kentucky looking to create some positive momentum here in this 4th quarter.
Well, Kentucky's a team that had their streak of 8 straight bowl games snapped last year, and I think a big question is, can they get back? The schedule's pretty tough. Today's their second AP Top 25 opponent. They still got Texas. They still got Tennessee at home. They're going to have to go to Vanderbilt. Got to play a good Louisville team on the road as well. Each and every week for Kentucky is going to be a dogfight from here on out.
So after the 6-yard reception by Miller, they go to Willie Rodriguez, the tight end, and a flag is down.
And now's a player downfield. Offense, number 75. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And I think for Kentucky, if they're going to have any shot, Joe, of getting to that bowl game, they've got to discover some playmakers throwing the football.
Yes.
And they're going to have to get more aggressive and just be willing to take those shots outside. But until somebody, regardless of who's playing quarterback, if it's that guy right there, Zach Calzada in his 7th year, the transfer, or if it's Cutter Boley, they need help outside in order to score points to give themselves a chance.
Well, after the penalty, Boley on the near sideline as he was looking for Macklin. So Calzada started the season. Of course, he's well-traveled, Jesse. He was at Texas A&M, then played at Auburn. And in the last couple years, our Carnett Ward, where we know they've had successful quarterbacks in recent years. Do you believe he's the answer coming back healthy for the back half of the season?
TBD. We just haven't seen enough of him yet. I know he's a little bit more athletic than Cutter Boley and gives them a bit of a different element and dynamic at the position. But at this point, in 2 games, that's all I've watched. The answer would be no.
2nd and 15, Patterson, and he is taken down immediately by Justin Williams.
I think one of the problems for Kentucky, Joe, is they just have not been hitting on portal quarterbacks. Will Levis, that was good. Devin Leary, not so good. Brock Vanderbilt, former Georgia Bulldog, not so good. This still is TBD right here, but you've got guys coming in. They're only giving you a year outside of Will Levis. And when you don't have that continuity and consistency, when you miss at that position, it sets this offense back terribly.
Instead of developing guy and being homegrown. And that is the case that they're looking for with Cutter Boley. 3rd and 17 for Boley, as that was denied. And a flag is down as Dominic Kelly, a good-looking true freshman from Florida, had coverage of Gilmore.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
You know, I think another problem with Kentucky, too, it's not just the quarterback, but the lack of consistency of play callers on offense. Heading into this year, they had 5 different offensive play callers in 5 straight years. Bush Hammond's the first guy to have the same job back-to-back years since 2020. And if you don't have continuity in scheme and terminology and the voice that these players are listening to coach, and you don't have continuity at quarterback because you keep going to the portal year after year, it's really hard to create any chemistry and rhythm on that side of the ball.
Of course, Liam Cohen, who was the play caller, see him on Monday Night Football as the head coach of Jacksonville. Dante Dowdell with the carry and Foster with the tackle for Georgia.
Well, and from that standpoint, I feel for Mark Stoops, honestly, because he had Liam Cohen for a year. Liam Cohen goes to coach in the NFL with the Rams. And then he comes back the following year just to take the job at Jacksonville the year after that. And so Mark Stoops is in a tough position. He's constantly scrambling. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, part of your evaluation as a head coach isn't just winning and losing and recruiting. It's who you hire on your staff. But I mean, he's had to do a lot of work year after year.
Wow. Boley, he's going against the grain there to the left and throwing to the sideline to Miller.
And you see the natural ability here of Cutter Boley. We talked about him being a big-time recruit coming out of high school. That time, Cameron Miller, a true freshman, just kind of running a fork route and going to his left. That was a really nice throw by Cutter Boley. On the move, accurate, with velocity.
And that is... They're saying out of bounds and incomplete. That was close.
Wow.
Ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. That play is under further review.
I think they're looking at that right foot.
Yeah.
Watch the right foot. Watch the toe here.
Oh, yeah, the left foot looks like it gets down first.
Yeah, it's great eyes there.
Wow. I think that was a catch. Did he have possession of the ball when the left foot hits? Right there? I think he did. I think the toe on the left foot actually got down early.
Matt, if you were reviewing this, what would you say?
I think he definitely got the left foot down inbounds with control of the ball, so I think this was the catch.
Well,
Miller, the receiver for Kentucky.
And isn't it interesting now? I mean, we talked about the problems they've had at wide receiver. It looks like Mark Stoops and this coaching staff is willing to give other players some opportunities to see what they can do. And Cameron Miller, a true freshman out of Camden, New Jersey, hasn't gotten a lot of run early this year, but at some point you got to give new guys a chance. If this stands, I mean, that's a big-time play by a young guy that might get some more run as the season goes on as they try to find those difference makers on the outside.
Just a true freshman. Played at Winslow Township and helped that team win a state championship a year ago.
After further review, the receiver was able to get the left foot down and complete the process of the catch. The results of the play is a first down at the 47-yard line.
So a first down for Kentucky here. 9.5 minutes to play as this game completely changed with what we saw at the end of the first half, the missed opportunity of Kentucky, then the turnover to start the second half, and then Georgia just swarmed in that third quarter and dominated. Boley off play action, and he is sacked. He's brought down by Adbako.
Yeah, he's lined up right over the center here, and he's able to just kind of swim around on a stunt and game, and absolutely nobody blocks him. Making his way in to get the sack. Again, sacks have been really hard to come by. This is a more of a run-stuffing defensive line that play a lot of two-gap and kind of eat up blocks.
2nd and 17, Dante Dowdell is the check down.
I just wish, and on this down right here, I just wish Georgia was a bit more creative defensively. You know, you and I call games every week, and we see third down packages. Last week, Texas A&M and Auburn, they're running out 4 defensive ends, and they're cheated packages. You see Glenn Showman the defensive coordinator, and they've got different personnel groupings, and they're lining them up in all these crazy places, and they're trying to confuse the quarterback, and Georgia just kind of lines guys up in the same spot virtually every third down, and makes it a bit easier.
3rd and 14 as he's pressured, has to go underneath to Hester. And a flag is down.
I just think there's some different things that Georgia can tweak in their third down sub package.
Holding defense number 24. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That is Kelly. He's going to trot off the field. And that is coaching right there. 2 penalties, says Kirby Smart.
Well, and not letting him off the hook up 35-7 either. There's still football to play, and these are young, inexperienced players that need the coaching. Kirby Smart not taking his foot off the gas, coaching everybody hard. Doesn't matter your first team, second team, third team. He's still giving it to him.
Boley looking for that seam to Macklin, but it's incomplete. Jones had coverage.
Yeah, I mean, just again, you just want to see Macklin try to fight his way back and make a play on the ball, or at least have an opportunity. And I know he's tangled up there with DeMello Jones here at the bottom of the screen, takes an inside release, and then doesn't really accelerate out of the break. There's obviously some contact, but those are just the plays that they just haven't been able to make. Contested catches not come easy for them.
2nd and 10. In cutting is incomplete. Looking for Jamori Macklin again.
I think that ball got back.
I think so too.
The line of scrimmage. I think it kind of affected the flight of the pass, and now another 3rd and long situation here. An opportunity for Georgia to get off the field.
Sometimes when you have a game like this, it's these moments in the 4th quarter where it can be hopeless on the scoreboard, but it's how you play and body language and effort and fight to the end that can define future weeks. 3rd down and 10. As Boley cannot connect with Gilmore.
Just got to make that catch. And you got Ellis Robinson chasing you from behind, but this hits both hands of Gilmore. You just got to be able to reel it in. It may not be an absolute perfect throw, but in this league on a drag route, there's probably going to be an elite corner chasing you. And if you make that catch and turn upfield, you keep your feet, you're running down the sideline.
Ellis Robinson, former #1 corner in the country. 4th down and 10. Boley on 4th down, and he does get it complete again to Miller.
There he is, Cameron Miller, who made the big catch on the sideline early, this time running the exact same route, just the other side of the field. Really great pass protection by Kentucky up front, giving Boley a clean pocket to deliver this football into, and there you go, climbing the ladder, making a contested catch.
And now Dante Dowdell, who was Nebraska's leading rusher last year with the carry. Let's go back and look at that catch again.
Well, he's only 5'11", but you already got to be pretty impressed with the catch radius. So just going up and climbing up, and it's not a perfect throw. Again, the tight coverage by Jaden Harris. But I think this Cameron Miller, he's already on one drive looking like their best target outside.
2nd and 8, Boley to the end zone. And that hits the helmet of Gilmore, incomplete. It's covered by Dominic Kelly.
Well, Dominic Kelly was the guy on the sideline getting chewed out by Kirby Smart a moment ago. That time, tight coverage, a bunch of hand fighting, but he gets his head turned around to try and locate the football, which I think sometimes helps referees keep their hands in their pocket. You see hand fighting by both guys. Gilmore trying to push his hands off of him. They drop competing outside.
3rd down and 8. As Patterson was taken down immediately by Maddox.
Yeah, and a nice job by Adrian Maddox there, anticipating the hot throw on the blitz and where that answer might be, running back in the flat, screaming downhill to make a stop. Now here's another 4th down. Last time they weren't able to get pressure on Boley, and big fellas up front for Georgia. Kirby Smart. Hoping they can dial it up.
Fourth down and 7. Can he get to the sticks? Yes. First down for Kentucky by Macklin.
And that's what I mean. They've got guys that can run. They actually do have guys with speed. You saw it right there for Macklin once he caught that drag route on the blitz. And he was able to run away from some guys, but you know they throw deep to him, and he can't separate. And it's the route running, and it's the ability to, and the intricacies of running those routes to get open. They're sorely lacking outside.
This is a 15-play drive by Kentucky. Ante Dowdell is met and tackled.
You know, it's amazing. We were talking earlier about Kentucky, right? Trying to get back to a bowl game, and what the level of expectation is at Georgia here based on what Kirby Smart has built. What is he now, won 35 of his last 38 SEC games? 4 straight SEC championship games.
This is going to be 44 straight wins against an unranked opponent, by the way.
It's just amazing. These two programs obviously on different ends of the spectrum, but you know, when you recruit the way Georgia does, they've had the staff hires that Kirby Smart has had. That's how you're able to consistently win year in, year out.
There's Boley with 5 minutes to play as Law will take it straight ahead. The Alabama transfers 4th in the SEC in yards after a catch per reception. Speaking of Alabama, you know what is coming up. It is going to be Alabama against Vanderbilt. Of course, a year ago was the ultimate shocker when it came to what we saw. And now here's Alabama again coming off the victory against Georgia, snapping the 33-game home winning streak here. But it's, as Kevin DeBoer said, it's how you handle success. Now you get to find out.
No question. I think last year Vanderbilt obviously snuck up on them. That was one of the biggest upsets I can remember in a long time in college football. But they're not sneaking up on them this year. They started 5-0. How good has Ty Simpson been for Bama, though, throwing the football? You and I and Katie have seen him live now twice this season. Just the way he handled the environment last week against Georgia, and he's playing at a very, very high level.
Georgia chooses to use a timeout here. 4th down when we return. A week ago, it was the clash of the Titans with Alabama and Georgia, and now Kentucky sitting here facing a 4th and 4, just trying to play hard with a long drive in the 4th quarter, but they're closing in on what will be 16 straight losses against the Dogs. Cutter Boley, 23 of 37 for 207 yards. He's had some moments here on this drive of converting 4th downs. Now a 4th and 4.
They've got the true freshman receiver here, 22 in the backfield, now isolated at the top of the screen. He's been making all the big plays on this drive.
That's Cameron Miller, who's in motion to the bottom of your screen. 4th down and 4. Boley, what can he come up with here? Just throws it up. And was that intercepted? Did Robinson keep it in? Ellis Robinson. As Foster was applying pressure on Cutter Boley.
Rolling on the field is an interception in the end zone for a touchback. First down, Georgia. Timeout. Media.
So Ellis Robinson with the interception on 4th down.
That's a mistake by Cutter Boley. If you're going to throw this away, it's got to go into the 5th row. Robinson, great job trying to keep his toes in bounds. Did he or not? We'll find out when we come back to Athens, Georgia.
Progressive pylon cam showing us that interception by Ellis Robinson on what was 4th down for Kentucky.
Yeah, amazing body control and awareness, dragging the toes. That would have been good on Sundays, I think, for inbounds. It's a 2nd pick of the year.
Well, Kirby Smart here at Georgia. We know what happened a week ago in his record against Alabama. 1-7, but it's against everybody else that they are just dominating. 107-13 for Kirby against all other schools. Of course, 3 SEC championships, 2 national championships, and we had a discussion with Kirby about the new landscape of college football and the realities of it. And he's like, listen, you want to get hot and you want to stay healthy. Obviously, with the new college football playoff, that can be the formula late in the season.
Well, you got to stay healthy because you can't stockpile talent anymore the way that you used to with NIL and the portal. A lot of really good high school recruits that aren't getting any playing time are just transferring, and they're transferring somewhere else. And so that's why that formula is a little bit different now. You know, it's amazing. The standard that's now been set for Georgia here, winning those back-to-back national championships, was kind of become national championship or bust. I've spoken to Georgia fans. We were talking about last year.
Right.
Winning an SEC championship, and they're like, it was a down year.
Isn't that amazing?
Down year for us. Connor Stockton, your backup quarterback, played the second half of that game against Texas. You won the SEC championship and got into the college football playoff, but that's what happens when you win national titles, and I think that speaks to the excellence that Kirby Smart has had here in Athens.
Ryan Puglisi's the quarterback here in this fourth quarter. Bo Walker has been the running back for this 4-minute offense series. There's an example of the arm of Puglisi, but it is intercepted as he came in to replace Gunnar Stockton to start this fourth quarter, as it is Grant Brayton with the pickoff. Let's check in with Kevin in the studio. And of course, we're going to be locking in to view so much college football for the rest of the day. Alabama and Vanderbilt, Texas and Florida. We didn't touch on that much today as Kentucky takes over. Boley on first down. He's going to go to the end zone. And it is incomplete. Quick read on Texas in Gainesville.
Well, I'm interested to see Arch Manning in this game. And this is easily the best defense that he's faced since Ohio State. He's going to be going into a brutal environment in the swamp where it's going to be very, very loud with a very good defensive line and pass rush. And I think, you know, people are interested to see if Arch Manning can deliver for that offense in that kind of environment.
Jordan Thomas, defensive lineman, is down on the field for Georgia. Here is the matchup of quarterbacks on ESPN.
Yeah, and obviously, you know, Arch Manning has, you know, statted it up recently against lesser competition, but the guy he's going against, a Texas native, DJ Lagway, has also really struggled this season with his decision-making as well. He's trying to bounce back from a multiple interception game against LSU, and so 2 guys, I think, with lots to prove. 2 young, really talented quarterbacks here in the SEC. The game that obviously means a lot for both of them, I think, to prove a lot of things, and it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Of course, Miami and Florida State coming your way later tonight right here on ABC. Carson Beck, 7 touchdown passes, as Miami's up to number 3 in the country with their 4-0 start. And here's Boyer as he lowers the shoulder and gets close to the 10-yard line.
And Cutter Boley still out there. He's battling, leaving a lot of their starters out on offense in this moment. Going to take any momentum they can with them into their next game.
2-minute timeout. We'll close things up when we come back to Athens. So Georgia's homecoming day record is now going to be 83-18-2. But the big winners today, Jesse Palmer, Jacob and Katie.
Yeah, congratulations to Jacob and Katie. They look absolutely fantastic. We got to worry about this right here. The crown, not total stability. Yeah, right. Nope. Just okay. Yeah, you got it stabilized.
Is there any chance we have a WTA or an MTA of who didn't win homecoming?
A men tell all live. Sure.
Can we do that?
We get Katie out there.
Can we talk to the TPTB?
Yeah.
The powers that be when it comes to that? When is the next episode of Golden, by the way?
We got it coming up on Wednesday.
The flag is down here.
Pass interference. Defense, number 27. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
because I lost out on homecoming.
Did you really?
I was at Louisville. It was a really sad day.
Do you remember who won, Katie?
I don't remember. I was actually away on a volleyball trip.
You didn't care enough then.
Well, the school asked if Ann Cordes, my coach, would send me back so that I could go out on the field. And she said, well, is she going to win? And they said, well, no, she doesn't have the votes. And she's like, well, I'm not sending her home for that.
Their loss, Katie.
First and goal to the end zone, and it's Kendrick Law. A touchdown for Kentucky.
I think if you're Mark Stoops, trying to find the silver lining here, you're enjoying at least seeing your offense continue to battle. And again, every rep Cutter Boley's getting is going to be beneficial for him and his experience moving forward. It's been pretty good today throwing on the run. Nice route that time by the Alabama transfer, Law, using his speed to get outside, and good accurate throw puts Kentucky back on the board.
So Boley with 2 touchdown passes. Getting some quality experience in the fourth quarter for a lot of varied receivers. As Coway hits the extra point.
I think Georgia needed this game, Joe.
Yes.
Needed a dominant win to kind of get the good feels going again. And we talked about these emotional games back-to-back. At Tennessee in overtime, great. Losing against Alabama stings last week, but you can't mope on that. You got to be able to turn the page, and they did. So now you go back to film. You look at everything and you evaluate everything, but their next game is going to be tough. I mean, Jordan-Hare at night next week.
One of the classic rivals.
Yeah, against a very good defense as well. I mean, they are going to be absolutely tested. There are a few tests still coming up. I think a lot of people, Joe, got excited about Georgia's schedule this year. Last year, their toughest games against Bama, Texas, and Ole Miss, all on the road. This year, those games all at home. And don't forget this one right here. Katie and I were here for that last year, the, 89 overtime game.
And remember all the timeouts that Kirby was calling every single time to see what was going on with the formation defensively. And now that game's going to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium after an all-time classic right here the day after Thanksgiving last year. And now Georgia Tech and the way they're playing, that could be something very special at the end of the season. A couple weeks away from Georgia against Ole Miss. Ole Miss off to a scorching start. Had the victory against LSU. Probably one of the biggest surprise stories in the country of what ended up developing a quarterback for Ole Miss. Sometimes you never know.
Man, Trinidad Shambles, he looks so good. Throwing and running the ball.
That's right. Bringing the Heat is brought to you by Sonic.
Well, for Georgia, we've kind of seen a lot of it here. 3rd and 3, we said that Gunnar Stockton had to be more aggressive, had to take more shots. Good job freezing the safety in the middle. And what a catch by Dylan Bell down low. They've run the ball well, too, but we've seen Gunnar Stockton get off here on the first drive of the game on a big 3rd down. Defensive end for Kentucky gets out of the gap. Gunnar Stockton able to make him pay for it. And then Dylan Bell, who just saw the catch a moment ago, guess what? He's also got 2 rushing touchdowns in this game here. Nice job on the reverse. Completely fools the fast flow of Kentucky defensively. And you've got to be happy. I think if you're offensive coordinator Mike Bobo.
Before the snap, false start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. First down. Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 51 seconds.
Jesse, we've talked about the perspective of Kirby Smart and what he's done here at Georgia, but when it comes to coming off of a loss, they haven't had consecutive losses since 2018, and they haven't lost 2 straight in the SEC since 2016. That was Kirby's first season.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with the message that Kirby Smart gives his team. I think there are a lot of coaches, when you lose a game like that, it feels like the sky is falling and you sort of point to all the negatives. Kirby told us this week, hey, we found a lot of positives watching the Alabama game. In fact, I feel like we played better in some cases in that game than we did against Tennessee the previous game on the road, winning that one in OT. So you're picking the spirits of your players back up. You're showing them the good things they're doing, keeping everybody locked in and dialed in, understanding it is a long, long season. Do you want to go undefeated? You want to run the table? Obviously. But There's still a lot of ball to be played, and this team certainly has the talent on both sides of the ball. Have a very, very special season.
Well, Walker on the carry. You know, Kentucky with the long struggles against Georgia. Haven't beat them since 2009, so this is going to be 16 consecutive wins. That's the second longest streak against an SEC opponent in the conference. Georgia's 16 straight wins over Kentucky. Victory formation it is for Georgia. So a new home winning streak begins as Georgia has now won 9 straight after a loss in recent years. And Kentucky falls to 1-10 in SEC conference play since the start of last season. "44 straight wins against an unranked opponent." We described this earlier as a reset back to winning ways after that clash with Alabama.
Yeah, they needed it bad physically, I think, and emotionally and mentally. They will get this win today. Now you got to turn the page, get ready for a big challenge next week at night versus Jordan Hare. Nice moment there between Kirby Smart and Mark Stoops, two really good buddies. They coach against each other every year. We're going to miss this rivalry game next year. They're taking it off the schedule.
Everything is changing, obviously, with the new scheduling in the SEC.
It's like 1955, so enjoy it while you have it. See you again in a couple years.
Gunnar Stockton with a touchdown pass with 2 rushing touchdowns, and 35-14 is the final score. Coming up next, it's going to be Vandy and Alabama. For Katie and Jesse, I'm Joe Tessitore. Enjoy the rest of a great day of football as we get you back to the College Football Scoreboard Studio with Kevin and Booger. Gentlemen, take it away. Good to be with you again.